走り出せ走り出せ空高く鳩と差し
Hi guys, it's Wasabifold here with another matchup for you in the Strawhats versus Blackbeards series, and today we return to this series with my matchup for Nami, which is Doc Q. Now this is actually going to be different from a lot of other theories when it comes to Nami. A lot of other matchups have Nami versus Devon, some have Nami versus Laphita, but Nami versus Doc Q I think is a pretty uncommon one, and there's a main reason why I picked Nami versus Doc Q, and it really comes down to the type of fighter I think Doc Q is. But let's be honest here, a lot of the matchups that are going to be following in this series are going to be very speculation heavy. There's no getting around that. Characters just have a lot of information missing as to the true nature of their abilities and what their strengths and weaknesses are, and even the type of fighters that they are. You know, there's no concrete evidence that can be presented to say that Nami will fight Doc Q. It's mostly based on feelings and perceptions or impressions that these characters have given off in the small amount of interaction that we have had with them. So for me personally, I'm not here to cry down other ideas. Nami versus Devon is perfectly fine, and I've gone back and forth on that several times. But I have settled on Nami versus Doc Q because I feel like it is the more probable one out of Nami's opponents because of how I rank the Blackbeard Pirates. For me personally, Doc Q might be one of the weaker fighters in Blackbeard's crew, and I might be wrong. But I feel like Doc Q might be a weaker fighter overall because I feel like he is not a direct fighter, he's more of an indirect fighter. When you consider his theme, and we'll get more into his background later, but his theme, you know, seems like someone who is very deceptive. We saw his basket of apples trick in Jaya, where he had grenades hidden among real apples and basically left it up to fate whether the person was, you know, killed or not. I think he's that kind of fighter in that he's looking to deceive you, he's looking to trick you, he's looking to gain an upper hand not by direct overall power but more smarts and tactics and whatnot. And I think he's that type of fighter, which I think, you know, matches well with Nami's style of fighting, where she's looking to trick you and deceive you with her illusions and her mirages to then get close to you or get you in a position where she can use a powerful weather attack to finish you off. Nami, for a lot of her finishing blows, usually relies on her electric capabilities. But I actually think Doc Q's theme goes beyond that. When you look at his actual character, and a lot of people have also come up with this idea, he does resemble the fourth horseman of the apocalypse. It's very obvious, it's very clear, it's plain as day. He has a pale horse, he, you know, has a grim reaper scythe. These reflect, you know, the artistic depictions of the fourth horseman of the apocalypse as he is described in the Bible, as someone who rides a pale horse that looks like the color of death, has a scythe. The name of the fourth horseman is, you know, Death. He's the only one that actually got a name, and I think Doc Q looks like death. He looks like he's about to die. If we're being honest, he looks like he's about to fall over or keel over and die at any moment. And I think that's what Oda wanted to be a part of his motif. This guy's about to die, how is he still alive kind of thing. He seems to sometimes be coughing up blood, he seems to be very lethargic. Sometimes he seems incapable of even walking, he has to use Stronger a lot for mobility, and even Stronger appears to be very sick. So something about this guy leads to him being very close to death's door. And I think the truth is that Doc Q, him being a doctor, is the key to understanding how he fights. I think Doc Q spreads a plague, some kind of pathogen or virus that he has developed using his medical knowledge, and he has in some way become the carrier of this disease, and he uses diseases to fight. He basically, you know, infects the person, and then he basically lets the disease take effect and have that person eventually, you know, be crippled by the disease that he is the only one that might have a cure to or understand how to treat it, because he's keeping himself alive, and then he would finish you off with this scythe. In a way, he's like some kind of inescapable death. Even if you were able to kill him or defeat him, if you're infected with the disease and you don't know how to treat it or you don't know what the antidote is, you could end up just dying anyway. And that's really what the Grim Reaper represents, a 100% assured death. And I think that's how Dark Q will fight, in a way where he'll be looking to trick his opponent so until he can administer that sickness or that illness to them. I don't think he'll be too physical, but I think he'll be more tactical. And what I think is actually important to note here is that Nami and Dark Q have actually had an interaction in the past. So if Dark Q, for instance, was carrying a pathogen or some kind of disease, could he have infected her all the way back in Jaya, and this disease is just currently lying dormant? And in the end of the series, she might be forced to fight him because he would be the only one who would have the cure for it, because he has already infected her all the way back in Jaya. And it might actually bring a very interesting aspect of Nami's skill set that doesn't get the kind of utilization that it should, in that she is a thief. So what if she has to steal the antidote from him, and that's how her fight will be going out, where she'll be racing against time to try and save herself from Dark Q's disease. I think that is actually how Dark Q and Nami's fight would play out. I can actually see and visualize this fight, whereas for Nami versus Devon, I don't really have much ideas. So for me personally, I decided to settle on this fight, and I'm basically throwing my hat in the ring. Nami versus Dark Q, because I feel like Dark Q is a tactical fighter like Nami. I feel like he is not a direct physical threat. He is more of an indirect threat who uses deception and lies to get close to his enemies, to infect them with some kind of disease, and he uses those diseases to dictate how the fight goes, and then basically kills you with his scythe. And I think he might have even infected Nami already. It's something that just lying dormant, that no test can find, and that it will be up to Nami in the end of the series to basically solve this problem for herself, and she'll have to fight Dark Q to get back the antidote. So that is my opinion on it. I know, like I said, there's a lot of speculation around this matchup. There's nothing that can be done about that, because that is just the unassailable truth. We are into matchups that don't have a lot backing them up, but that is my justification for the Nami versus Dark Q fight. What do you guys think? Do you think that it's good? Do you think that Nami versus Devon is just a much stronger reason because Nami is a female and she only seems to get female fighters? Tell me what you guys think about Nami and this matchup. Alright, this is Wasabifold signing out.